There's an epidemic of fatness.
Gentlemen with narrow chests are advised to use the dumbbells every morning. You need broad chests, and you must do your best to get them.
When you push heavy weight, your body has to call for testosterone as a man.
Would you say we would be a happier culture if we exercise more?
For sure.
That's where you grow mentally along the way.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I just did this hard thing, so why would I be afraid of doing something that is outside of the gym that's hard?
I love the trajectory, though, that we're seeing in some of our circles where some churches are putting in gyms.
Yes.
Like in their building.
Yeah.
They're putting in gyms to just say, hey guys, this is a part of what it means to be a man of God.
I feel like sedimentarianism just like, it really paves the way for demons to come in and attack you.
And I don't disagree with that. The times that I am most tempted spiritually
Is when you're doing that.
is when I'm not doing anything.
Exactly.
When you're weak and you're tired.
And I'm weak and I'm tired.
What got you interested in fitness? Did you always look like a Greek statue?
I was 250 pounds and I could barely lift a weight.
There's a lot of problems, but we are fatter than we've ever been, and it's an epidemic. The point is, we're 65 pounds on average heavier in 2026 than we were in 1916.
Yeah. Liz and I were hanging out the other night, and I was wearing one of my cutoff shirts.
Tank.
Yeah, like a tank top. And I don't know if we were watching a movie or something, but I was doing this number.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't thinking about it. And all of a sudden, we've been married now for 18 years. All of a sudden, she starts petting my muscles. And I was like, yep, gonna keep working out.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Plundering Leviathan, a podcast of North Center Church, where our aim is to reclaim culture's gold for Christ's glory. We're live today with our first-time guest, Alec.
Many-time producer.
Many-time producer.
Yep.
Yeah, you've heard his voice many times in the background.
Yep. The creaking of the chair in the back.
And the creaking of the chair. The
That's
creaking of the
me.
chair is iconic.
I hate it.
Even like treasuring the text, I'm always like trying to move so very slowly because
The lean.
yeah. So Alec, welcome. It's fun to have you
Thanks for having me.
on the conversation. We're going to talk about exercise, working out, and we just randomly chose Alec. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Looks like the guy needs to work out a little more.
Yeah, I'm fat according
Yeah.
to him.
Sort of a way to encourage him.
What we did is we said, who is the strongest guy in our church? And maybe that's the guy to pick. And I think Alec probably is the strongest guy in the church.
Well, we've never arm wrestled.
Yeah.
But I have thrown you in a pool.
That's
We could do it live.
we could do it live. I just
Yeah. Yeah, he did throw you in a pool. He picked you up and threw you.
yeah.
So
I could pick him up and throw him in a pool if I wanted to. I just didn't feel like it.
Oh.
Tell us about yourself, Alec. How'd you find your way to, particularly your relationship with Jesus, and how you found your way to North Center?
My relationship with Jesus has been a long one. It's actually been all my life. Started with my parents taking me to church every Sunday, and then eventually I actually gained the consciousness to actually understand what faith is. And along that way, I've really grew through singing. Singing has always been my favorite when it comes to praising the Lord and
I love that,
gaining my
man.
faith. So that's always been my favorite, and I've led some songs here at North Center, and that's always been great. So yeah, that's where my relationship with Jesus started. A little background about me: I work with Steve.
mm-hmm.
He kind of
forced him to come to North Center.
there was
So many
a lot of persuading along the way. I was in a period
Persuading is such a kind word.
I was in a period where I was in between churches, and I just moved out on my own, and Steve just every Friday we'd be on calls together at work, and he's always like, hey, you should come to church this Sunday. And then week after week, I was like, gosh, I gotta go.
Yeah.
It was like I was just keep on telling myself, and then I wouldn't do it on Sunday, and then after about like 3 months of him just nonstop, just getting me every Friday, and then I was just like, I'm gonna show up.
It's just like working out, man.
Yeah.
You need the accountability.
Yeah.
You need the guy kind of standing over you,
And I
yelling in your face.
Yeah, and I met you too
At work?
Yeah, at work, and I was like, this guy's kind of cool. This guy's kind of cool.
So when I met Alec, Steve introduced us, and I shook your hand, and I was like, "Oh man, what?" So I commented on your handshake. It was unlike any handshake I think I've probably ever experienced.
Like a death grip, like
it
a
was,
vice.
Yeah, it was like I had just inserted my hand into something.
Yeah, I think you were going to another church off and on that I affectionately called a TED Talk church, a TED Talk with a Bible verse and a coffee bar, something like that.
Yeah, coffee.
Yeah, you were going
coffee shop.
You were going to a big one, and so I was telling you you didn't have to come to North Center necessarily, but to get to a church that preaches through the Bible, preferably what we call expositional preaching, which is taking a book of the Bible and just going through it. Versus a lot of churches out there that are like topical, and so they'll just have they'll preach their like greatest hits over and over again, topical sermons over and over and over again. And there's a place for topical sermons, but when it's the main diet and they never go through a book of the Bible, they can just hit their pet topics all the time, which usually revolve around money, health, those things. But
except for health brings us to our topic today, where we don't often hear about, I think, our bodies.
Right.
Would you say that's true?
Oh, I think it's really true. I mean, we're in a lot of ways we over spiritualize everything, I think, in the church, and so we're not as concerned with the physical body to the point where, like, we had a discussion about cremation recently, and the incidences of cremation they're up to like 60% of Americans will be cremated, which is astronomically higher than any time in the period of history. And I think that's largely due to a low view of the body. Like, this is just a shell. We're embodied spirits, we're spirits having a physical existence, some people say, versus we're a whole being, body and soul intertwined together.
So perhaps, I mean, the idea is your body is just a tent. It's a temporary dwelling place for your spirit. And one day you're going to leave this tent behind. And so what really matters is your spirit, your body, not so much.
Absolutely. And also just, with technology, we have screens everywhere. Work has been made easy. We're not working blue collar jobs as much. I mean, white collar jobs are way more prevalent, I think. And even the blue collar jobs, some of them were using technology versus our hands and our feet. And so you have a generation of kids growing up with type 2 diabetes at a very young age, which we've never seen before.
Right.
When I was a kid, we left the house in the morning, we got on our bikes, we just ran the neighborhood all day long. And then wherever we landed, for dinner at somebody's house, that's where we ate. And then when it was dark, we went home. But we were always outside, always playing pickup basketball games or football games or whatever. And now I don't see kids outside like that.
You would think if you were always playing pickup basketball that you'd be better than you are.
Right. So we played a lot of sports. So rather than just focusing
on the one.
Yeah. But I think
you're well.
No, he's got a mid-range on him though.
Yeah, that's right. The mid-range jumper is on point.
It is on point.
It's on point.
Yeah.
I played a lot of sports.
It destroyed us. It destroyed me last time we played him.
Yeah, I mean, I was a swimmer and a soccer player and basketball, and we did all those things.
All the things.
I can do a front flip off a diving board. Have you ever done a front flip off a diving board?
I spent an entire day jumping off a diving board for the purpose of front flipping.
Yeah. We go to the pool last night, and Jeremiah's running around, and Alec, you weren't there yet. Tim was there, and I just went to the diving board, did a front flip, and your jaw dropped like you'd never seen that.
Well, I've never seen it from an old man.
Right.
Yeah,
So
a frail old man. Yeah.
Right. A man that doesn't focus in on just basketball.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyway, the point stands.
That.
Kids are not doing these activities like they used to. When we're out and about in neighborhoods all day long, and we should be dodging kids in the summer on every block. Like when I was growing up, we would have been. And now, man, like if I pull onto a block and there's a bunch of kids, my heart is happy because these kids are out playing.
Yep.
Versus
They're living life how it should be.
Yeah.
Rather than inside on a screen playing video games,
Yes.
scrolling TikTok or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's an epidemic of fatness
There it is.
in our.
That's the impetus for this conversation.
It really is. In America, we are the fattest we've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to a bunch of World War One, history shows this week, and one of the things really shocked me. They were talking about trench warfare in World War One, and these trenches oftentimes were filled with water, 3 feet deep in water, and they had these long greatcoats on, and these coats they weren't waterproof, and so they sucked up all the water. So they would be carrying oftentimes 30, 40 pounds of mud and water in their clothes and their gear. And the commentator made the point that, with this 100 pounds of gear and water and mud on top of the average weight of 135 pounds. So the average soldier in World War One weighed 135 pounds 100 years ago. The average weight of American today, a male, is 199. 200 pounds is the average weight of a male today. And that's not a healthy weight for the average height, which is like 5'8" or whatever.
Okay. I was about to get upset.
Yeah. So, 200, sure. And right. Obviously, how much muscle you're carrying matters. But the point is, we're 65 pounds on average heavier in 2026 than we were in 1916. Yeah. And so as I'm listening to this podcast, though, I'm also delivering weight loss drugs all day. So
yep, GLP-1s.
We deliver GLP-1s all day long, and I'm thinking about the average weight of a World War I soldier as I'm delivering these weight loss drugs to people all day, and I'm thinking, man, we lost the plot somewhere, and it's not right. It's not always because people are lazy and undisciplined. Our food is part of the problem
massively.
Right, our food is it's quick and easy and full of empty calories that make us fat and sick. It's garbage, yeah. So there's a lot of problems, but we are fatter than we've ever been, and it's an epidemic. So it's good to see Christian men and women concerned with fitness and the body to the glory of God, right?
Yes, that's the point of the episode is everything belongs to the glory of God. This world belongs to King Jesus, and that includes our bodies. And so we want to talk about how do we plunder our bodies, our health for the glory of God. We want to do this in a way that honors God and doesn't idolize the body either. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons we struggle when it comes to body image is the church just doesn't talk much about bodily health. I don't think so. At least, that's a blanket statement. In my experience, I have not heard and I have not preached. I don't know, a handful of sermons. I could count on one hand with probably 3 broken fingers how many sermons I've preached on bodily health. Mm-hmm. Right? I preach every Sunday on spiritual health in some way. Charles Spurgeon once said, Charles Spurgeon was known as the Prince of Preachers. So one of the most influential preachers our world has ever had. Massive congregation. Before there was artificial amplification, he was speaking to just thousands of people. And so he was talking about the need for a strong voice as a preacher. So there was a lecture called On the Voice. He's talking about On the Voice. And so Steve and I have used this quote off and on when we're working out. Quote, he says, "Gentlemen with narrow chests are advised to use the dumbbells every morning. You need broad chests, and you must do your best to get them."
Yeah.
Never heard that quote before.
Yeah.
And honestly, I 100% agree with that.
You need broad chests.
Yes.
And must do your best to get them.
Yeah.
When you don't hear this from the pulpit, you're going to take all of your cues related to bodily health from secular culture. Mm-hmm. And they've got a very different narrative, a very different motive for promoting bodily health. And so when we have a podcast about working out as worship, you're not gonna get that message from culture, and we're not getting it from the church. So a lot of Christians that just don't really know how to think about, including most of my life, how do you think about the body? Mm-hmm. For all the attention our culture gives to health, fitness, and physical appearance, it's interesting how little attention the Bible itself gives to the subject. Scripture certainly doesn't ignore the body. We talk often about Paul telling Timothy that bodily exercise profits a little. 1 Timothy 4:8. It is of some value.
Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of Christians take that, or I think a tendency is to say it's of some value, right? Spiritual discipline is of great value, so we're just going to ignore the physical aspect. We're like, well, it's only of some
only a
value.
little value.
Let's put it on the side.
Yep.
That's not worth working on.
Right. Because even in that verse, Paul emphasizes, but it's the spirit, the soul, your character that matters the most.
Sure.
And so, but the Bible says bodily exercise does profit a little. The Bible reminds us that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, and we are called to glorify God in our bodies. However, compared to the thousands of scripture passages devoted to knowing God, pursuing holiness, loving your neighbor, proclaiming the gospel, etc., the Bible devotes remarkably little space to exercise, like exercise routines, strength training, nutrition, and the like. Likewise, many of the greatest pastors and theologians in church history, and I'm thinking of men like Augustine, Calvin, Jonathan Edwards, Spurgeon is probably something of an exception, Martin Lloyd-Jones, Sproul, etc., they left us libraries of wisdom on the Christian life, but almost nothing on barbells.
True.
Or protein or whatever.
Well, for many of them, the barbell wasn't invented yet, but that's another point for another day.
That's true. Yeah. How about push-ups?
Sure, push-ups. But they probably didn't have to think as much about it because, quite frankly, they didn't have the technology doing all the work for them. They had to chop their own wood. They had to walk or run, or they had to do a lot of physical labor that we don't have to do today.
Just to survive.
Bringing it all the way back to how the difference between our culture today from a generation ago.
Right.
They were more in fit naturally. They didn't have to think about it like we do.
Life was hard, and they needed to become anti-fragile as a result of survival, merely.
Exactly.
So as a result, Christians often find themselves turning almost exclusively to secular voices to answer questions about fitness and physical health. And so this brings us into the podcast. How should Christians think biblically about exercise? How do we avoid the two ditches, one of neglecting the body on the one hand, or idolizing the body on the other hand? Total neglect, idolization.
So the quote I was thinking of, "Men without chest," is C.S. Lewis.
Yes.
In the Abolition of Man.
Yeah.
Now, he wasn't talking in that quote about physical chess. He was talking about fortitude under pressure, being bold men, bold Christian men that speak truth without wavering, right? But he did say something about the body, which was interesting. And this, I'm taking this from David Mathis's book. I'm going to talk a little bit about this book, David Mathis, because he wrote A Little Theology of Exercise. And it was very helpful, very good. This was printed last year, 2025. But he opens up with this, a quote from C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis says, "Man has held three views of his body." This is from Lewis's 1960 book, The Four Loves. "First, there is that of those ascetic pagans who called it the prison or the tomb of the soul, and others to whom it was a sack of dung, food for worms, filthy, shameful, a source of nothing but temptation to bad men and humiliation to good ones. Then there are the neo-pagans, the nudists and the sufferers from dark gods to whom the body is glorious." That's the other ditch. Right, so there's the one ditch.
Yep.
Leave the body alone. It's a sack of dung. Right. The other one, the nudists and the ones that say the body is glorious. But thirdly, we have the view. So this is the middle road. We have the view which Saint Francis expressed by calling his body brother ass.
Okay.
Lewis then comments, and this is really good. Lewis then comments, "All three may be defensible, but give me Saint Francis for my money." And he says, "Then an ass, a donkey, right? An ass is like our body. It's stubborn, it's useful, it's sturdy, it's lazy, it's obstinate, it's patient, lovable, and it's an infuriating beast." And he says you need to give it now a carrot, then a stick. So this idea, and this is kind of Mathis's opening point for a reason, because our body can be like that brother ass, a donkey that is stubborn, obstinate, lazy, useful, but it's also a good brother. It's part of us. It's something we should cherish. And I think that was a good starting point in Mathis's Mathis's book, but
It's good.
yeah, we don't hear that word for donkey very often, so
No.
that's why you get the little
Yeah.
the
No, I'm
little
doing my,
childish.
yeah, I can you can edit people's contact information, and so for Alec, I now
Alec
have,
is now brother ass.
yeah, it shows up. So when Alec calls, it's Alec brother ass.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. The bummer is I'm going to forget what the context was for that, and be very confused.
So I'm curious. Before we get into maybe a theology of exercise,
Good.
or something like that, Alec, what got you interested in fitness? Did you always look like a Greek statue,
No.
or
No. I originally started probably around 12 years ago doing football.
okay?
So morning workouts, just the normal stuff with the football team. I was a center on the offensive line.
So you weren't.
I was 250 pounds, and I could barely lift a weight. I was just built like I'd say the Michelin Man.
So you were a high
A
schooler.
marshmallow.
The marshmallow center.
Yes, the
Yeah.
marshmallow center.
Yeah, you just had to get the ball somewhere to the quarterback and then stand there and plug the hole.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you were a good hole plugger
Yeah.
at 250 pounds.
And
How'd you get hole
Plugger.
Hole plugger. How did you get to 250 at 16 years old?
just a bunch of like what kids do nowadays. It's escaping into technology, playing video games all the time. When you're bored, you just eat food even though you don't need to. Like it's just because your body might think you're hungry even though you're thirsty, or you're just bored and you're randomly putting junk calories in your body. And it's always the snack drawer. The snack drawer.
You're never snacking on like carrots
anything. No, not vegetables.
Bags
no.
of Doritos, cereal,
You name it, I ate it.
honey buns.
Yep. You name it, I ate it.
A whole container of Oreos.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to 250 pounds.
Yes. 250
And somebody
pounds,
said
no muscle, no nothing.
Nothing. A week 250.
Yeah.
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 But you joined football.
Yep. I joined football. I've always loved football, and that's where it first started. It was always the morning workouts in the summer when we always had to meet at 7 a.m. in the morning and just work out with the team.
What was that first week like at 250 pounds, can't lift a weight?
It's humbling. It's humbling when you see other guys that are jacked and they're the running backs or the linebackers or the guys that are just throwing around weight, and I'm sitting here with my 25-pound dumbbells just going, and they're over there like just pushing weight around, and it's like eventually I'm gonna get there. But
And for context, you went to a big high school.
yep, I went to Blaine High School.
Yeah.
Which my graduating class was just in my class was 1,000 people. So
Yeah, it's huge. So you had a great workout area, a gym at the high school with all the equipment you needed.
yeah, pretty old school. It was all iron, all everything. It was right before they remodeled it, but it was everything we needed. Lots of racks, lots of machines, everything you needed.
Oh. That's just massive delayed gratification, is what I'm hearing. You're watching these guys throw weight around. You're struggling with the basics.
Yep.
With the little pink ones that I give you in the mornings.
Yep.
Oh, I was just learning how to do like proper form in the beginning, because we're doing like all the explosive workouts. So like your hang cleans, your power cleans, your deadlifts, your squats, and I'm sitting there with I'm basically just picking up the bar, and I'm like, how do I do this properly? And my strength and conditioning coach he's like 6'5", 270, just jacked as can be, and you're just like, and it's just like, teach me how to do it, coach, because I don't know what I'm doing.
But like we live in a world that idolizes instant gratification.
Yep.
I mean, it's fast, cheap, quick, easy, fun now.
Everybody wants it now.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've passed this building that does body sculpting, and I'm like, I could just have surgery and have abs. They could just put abs inside of me, and I could have them tomorrow. Like but I mean, to be 250 pounds, to be so humbled, and to go, what I want is going to take years, and I'm going to show up tomorrow.
Yep. And the next day.
And the next day.
And the next day. It's always just a consistent grind.
That's just so countercultural. What are you lifting right now?
What?
So 12 years later. Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, you this is a process that you had to go through. You lost some weight. I mean, did you stay 250?
So
Or-
after I got into the gym and I saw these guys doing all this, I was like, I'm like, you see yourself in the mirror, and obviously I didn't have a good body image. So to start, it was like, I'm gonna change this right now, and it was all about changing my eating habits. So what I did was, I told myself I'm gonna start losing weight. So what I did was I would eat a salad for lunch, and then I would have a protein shake for dinner, and that was what I would have every day for like 3 months, and I lost so much weight in that period. I could put anything I wanted in the salad, I could put anything I wanted in the protein shake, but those were the only two things that I was gonna have that day, and it changed everything. It changed everything, and I still continue to work out, still continued to hit those morning lifts, and it just the weight shut off in a span of a year. I lost 55 pounds. Actually, I was 250 down to 185 was the picture. I took a picture of it on my scale because I was so proud of it. So
65
yeah,
pounds.
65 pounds in a span of a year. I was a junior in high school and I was down to 185. And at that point, I stopped playing football, more just to work. I was a carpenter at the time, but I still continued to work out. So.
And then you kept working out.
Yep, kept working out. Then it started to get picked up by. I had some friends. Obviously, you build some friends through high school or through the gym, and I started working out with friends all the time. And then in college, I did for a little bit, but mostly towards this period now, it's just been by myself. Or I did have a workout partner, but he became a CrossFitter, so I had to excommunicate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in gym culture, there's much argumentation over CrossFit versus bodybuilding versus powerlifting and all of these things. But now, you're more of a bodybuilder? I mean, what's your emphasis when you're in the gym? Are you bodybuilding, powerlifting?
I like to say I'm a power builder.
Oh.
It's a mix in between bodybuilding and powerlifting.
Okay.
I believe that your biggest gains in muscle can be from powerlifting, but you also still need to hit more weight and more reps along the way. So that's where the bodybuilding comes in. So I like to blend the two.
Sure.
Along the way, you just keep going. It's all about the progressive overload over time. You got to continue to increase the weight, increase the reps, and then your muscles will grow.
Yeah. And progressive overload is just that, progressively increasing the weight over time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it in my own progress the last year.
If we can keep your back from breaking. I mean, broke back over here. It's picking up a dumbbell wrong and then tweaking his back, but
we were Liz and I were hanging out the other night, and I was wearing one of my cutoff shirts.
Tank?
Yeah, like tank top. And I don't know if we were watching a movie or something, but I was doing this number.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't thinking about it. And all of a sudden, we've been married now for 18 years. All of a sudden, she starts petting my muscles. And I was like, yep, gonna keep working out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
There's something about being a masculine man that women love.
Well, I think that's a good thing to talk about. So, I mean, you've done this for 12 years. I'm sure you've fallen in. I've seen you fall into some ditches. You were going to do a show one time about a bodybuilding show, and I mean, I remember being very concerned because I know, being in the, I was the same thing. I was 265 pounds. I couldn't do a push-up. I couldn't do a pull-up. I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without being winded. And throughout, time, I got down to 182 and had pretty good lifts at 180 pounds, 450 pound deadlift and all of that stuff. But the point is, in my own progress in that, I saw the temptation to idolize the body, right?
Yeah.
To want to hit the next, get this next muscle looking better, right? And I find that bodybuilding shows can be very full of vanity.
Yes.
And self-absorption. And so when you were saying you were going to do a show, I'm like, man, okay, that's cool. It's great. But what's the motivation? What's the intrinsic nature? So have you found yourself having to battle that ditch of vanity?
Yes. So over the whole period of working out, it's always like you said, it's the ditch. You got to walk the middle line. Like you can completely lose it if you completely stop, or you go all the way in the other side of the ditch where it might become too much vanity, and that's what I thought along the way was you brought that up to me, and I was like we're really glorifying the body way too much, like idolizing it, and it's not what we should be doing. And the things that you go through to idolize the body along the way when it comes to a show is terrible for you.
Yeah, you have to cut a whole bunch of fat,
Yeah.
and to do that, you
Yeah.
have to starve yourself almost.
You start
Well, like physically terrible for you.
Yes, mentally and physically.
Sure.
Because when you're sitting there staring at yourself in the mirror with your shirt off, and you think that something is just a little bit off, you're gonna sit there and it's gonna ruin your whole day, because that's all you're going for when it comes to a show. It runs your whole life once you start doing that. There was points when I was in this prep for that show that I would eat like a chicken breast just for the day. And I need calories, I need protein. And I'm sitting there like dragging my feet at 6 o'clock every day. Like I'm not gonna be able to finish today. Like I'm dead.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
How do you keep from making it a god?
I think trying to stay close to our own God is more important. I mean, obviously along the way you have to check yourself when it comes to just doing it all the time, and once it starts taking up all your free time and all your time that you're supposed to be with the Lord, it becomes a problem. And that's where, I mean, obviously we all fall in our ruts, and I've definitely done it before like that. Like during the prep, it was definitely God took the sideline, because it was just like I don't have time. Like it consumes your whole life, and that was a sad moment. And once I realized that was happening, I had to back out.
Yeah. What benefits do you see though in life? I mean, because you can look back and you can say at 16 you were out of shape, and what benefits do you see just in day-to-day life being more fit versus back then?
I feel like from worldly things, you get more respect from people you don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's true in the pulpit too.
Yes. I think as a leader, if you have broad shoulders and you already have like the image of a leader, people are going to want to listen to what you have to say when it comes to the pulpit, or whether it just comes to day-to-day life. They're going to be like, this guy puts in the work. You can see it. You can see it physically. So he must have something good to say when he's talking out.
So just in general, you personally automatically are giving the speaker more of your attention. You're giving him more. You respect him more right out of the gate when he looks a certain way.
Yes.
They have a presence.
I think we
Commanding.
all do. I think you see guys that if you see a fat, out of shape pastor and he's talking from the pulpit about how you need to do something, or you need to listen to what he has to say, it's like,
Yeah, it kind of shows.
does he lack discipline within his own life?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah, it's discipline. Right, exactly. You have to have a certain amount of discipline to be in shape, especially today, right, with the food and all the things we mentioned. So yeah, you look into the pulpit, you see a very obese pastor preaching to you about spiritual discipline, and there's something which he could have great spiritual discipline, but he's lacking apparently. Like, take all the exceptions aside, right?
Because there's certainly
thyroid problems and health problems and all of those things, and just let those aside and just say that otherwise this is a healthy person that just enjoys food and hasn't disciplined his body. If he's lacking physical discipline, that speaks to the people right out in the congregation.
Well, first of all, as a pastor, Tim and I were talking about this morning on the way in. We're talking about like it's such a sedentary life that you lead. You know, you're sitting when as you read, as you study. Generally, you're sitting as you're writing. as you're doing your Bible studies, maybe you're going to walk around a little bit, but there's no exercise there. And then, so a huge part of your job in pastoral ministry is study, reading, thinking, praying, which tends to lend itself toward, sedentary state. And then the other part of your pastoral work is caring for people. And so you do a lot of visiting. And so you go to people's house and you sit on their couch and you talk, or you go to the coffee shop and you sit and you talk. And so unlike other jobs, pastors have to fight for whatever exercise they're generally going to get.
Sure. Oh yeah. And we eat a lot, right? I mean, because
a huge part of our relational life together is food.
is at the table somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good and great. And we should do all that to the glory of God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether you eat, whether you drink, whatever you do it all to the glory of God. Can we make a case, a biblical case for why the body is important and disciplining it with exercise is important?
And we should. One of the reasons that'd be such a good case to make is even related to pastoral ministry. I wonder why Paul doesn't include this as a qualification for deacons or elders.
Sure.
He talks about.
He said he said, don't be addicted to much wine.
Sure.
That's a physical thing, but discipline thing. But he doesn't say, thou shalt not be fat and out of shape. Thou must have a T level above, 600 nanograms per milliliter, and thou must bench 225.
Right.
Right. I did see in certain circles of Christian social media recently, pastors calling for certain physical requirements for the job. I did actually see this. It was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, you got to have a 225 bench. You got to have a...
For real?
Oh, yeah. A BMI below 20 or whatever. I don't know what the number was. I think body fat. That's what it was. He called for a body fat below 20%. They were kind of saying it, I hope, tongue in cheek. But it does speak to the large body of believers that don't value the human body as much as maybe they should in an age where we're just fat, right? So, but does the Bible speak to the body? And I guess the question, like, what is the value of the body? What's the Christian case, the biblical case for working out? And I think it does. I can lead us off. It starts in the garden, right? He formed us of body and soul, right? He breathed life into a body that he formed. He made the body. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are created. You are designed.
Yeah, knit together in your mother's womb.
Exactly. And the human body is incredible. Like this thing that we have is amazing. The fact so one guy called it the Swiss Army knife of bodies. Like, we can do so much. Like, yeah, there are animals that can do certain things better, right? There are animals that can run faster. There are animals that can lift more, push more, go longer distances, whatever. But we do all of it well. Like, God designed this body to do a lot of things really well. Like, just look at some of the athletes out there. You look at gymnasts and the things that gymnasts can do with their body. Look at basketball players and football players and just, it's amazing what different people, figure skaters. I've never figured out how a figure skater can do what they do.
Oh, so, yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. You watch some of those like Red Bull commercials or whatever of these guys doing just crazy things.
Ninja warriors.
Yeah.
Right. These people. The body is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I read also in this little book that Mathis wrote that he was quoting somebody else, but 25% of your bones are in your feet. 25% of the bones in your body are contained in your feet, which means that we're made to walk, we're made to run, we're made to be on our feet. Because our feet can just withstand this.
How many bones are in your butt?
I don't know.
Your tail.
One of yours is broke though, and you need to fix that bone that's broke. Not as many as in your feet. That's the point, right?
You're right.
And all throughout the Bible, what do you see? You see, especially Paul, over 30 times. There's 3 bones in your butt. And we use those bones. A lot of us use those bones more than we use the bones in our feet, which speaks to something. But Paul talks about what? Walking. The faith life, the Christian life, is a walk.
Right. That's the analogy over and over again.
And what does he talk about at the end? I ran the race.
Yeah.
Right. I ran it well. I press on towards the goal.
Right. I beat my body into submission. I'm not as one who punches the air.
Yeah.
When I throw punches, they connect. He's given all of these athletic, working out images to describe the Christian life, and those images only work if they mean something in the real world.
Yeah.
Running, swinging.
Yep. And we see that all through the Bible, right? Walking and running analogies. And so
You see Christ with a glorified body?
yeah, so he gave us a body.
Yep.
Right? God created our bodies that is fearfully and wonderfully made. It's incredible. The human brain will shock a person. Right?
Yeah.
We have thumbs, we have hands that can do just amazing things. Right?
Yes.
This is just incredible when you consider the body. So he made this beautiful body. He put us, soul and body, together. They're linked in a lot of ways. Like when you exercise, you feel good. It changes your brain chemistry. It gives you joy. It gladdens the soul. Like all of these things happen when you exercise. So there's this link between body and soul and mind that's made by God on purpose. Right?
Parentheses, would you say we would be a happier culture if we exercised more?
For sure. Yeah, when you exercise, everybody knows you get endorphins, right? But there's another scientist that said you also stimulate not just endorphins, the feel-good chemicals, right?
Yeah.
But you also stimulate the endocannabinoids. So we talked about endocannabinoids when we did the cannabis.
That's right.
Yeah, when we did the cannabis episode. So you have an endocannabinoid system in your body. What marijuana does and cannabis does is it simulates the system that the body already has. When you work out, you create endocannabinoids, which one scientist described as the feel good, be happy, drug or whatever in your body, or whatever that is. It's the feel good, be happy chemical. So that happens when you work out. So you have more joy.
Uh-huh.
You're joyful.
Yeah.
Eric Little, the runner in the early 1900s, they made a movie about his life called Chariots of Fire. And he said he was a Christian.
No, that's Star Wars.
Yes, it is.
He was a Christian man. He went to the Olympics. He refused to run. I think that's Star Wars.
Yeah, keep going. He refused to run on the Lord's
He
Day.
refused to run on the Lord's Day, but he said, "I feel God's joy or I feel God's pleasure when I run fast."
Yeah.
Yes.
God made me fast, and when I run, I feel His pleasure.
Yeah. Yep.
So good.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes you more joyful. That's David Mathis's case that there's 5 reasons that you should work out. One of them is for joy.
So for those that struggle with maybe, I don't know if depression's the right word, clinically or not, but if you tend to struggle that way, exercise would be at least one good way to fight depression.
Yeah, depression.
I think that's how I fought it when I was 200. I was depressed when I was 250 pounds, and every single time I went in the gym, I felt great every single time.
And that's something.
Go through the struggle, go through the pain of sitting there trying to run on the treadmill where you can't even do it. You can't even do it. You're at 5 miles an hour and you're sitting there sweating your butt off.
Yeah.
But once you get off of that treadmill,
Yeah.
and once you actually go through life after that struggle in the gym or just doing fitness in general, it changes your outlook.
They call that afterwards the runner's high.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of that?
Maybe from you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There is something notoriously called the runner's high, that after physical exercise, you get this feeling that like you're high, and that's, I think, the endocannabinoids speaking. But it's not a high like you're out of your mind, you're hallucinating. No, it just feels good.
Pure joy.
It is. Yeah. And you can get that not just with a run. You don't have to go run 5 miles to get that. You can just go walk. Get up and go walk in the sun. Go around the block.
Yeah, my family does a 3-mile walk almost every day. We've done it for years. Liz and I, one time, we sat down and we mapped out roughly how far we've walked together in the 20 years that we've been together. So we dated for 2 years, married for 18. And we figured out that we've walked from, the coast of California to the coast of Pennsylvania, back to California, back to Pennsylvania, and then we're somewhere in the middle as far as how many miles over the years we've walked together. And it's I don't know, it just feels so healthy mentally, emotionally, even relationally.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boston?
They have a coast?
Sure.
You mean Massachusetts?
Massachusetts, thank you. It's a good thing we're not
Geography nerd here. Yeah. Yeah.
Good thing we're not live.
I thought Pennsylvania was landlocked.
Yeah, it is. It is landlocked. I was thinking Massachusetts.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Boston.
Yep.
Boston's
I had
not
to
in
save him on
Pennsylvania.
that one.
Pennsylvania is landlocked, yeah?
I'm looking up right now.
So
we need to know.
We're gonna, the people
not
in the chat
considered
need to
fully
know.
landlocked because it has a 51-mile coastline on Lake Erie.
So,
But
the
that's
joke's
a
on
lake.
you.
But you were
Not a coast.
trying to emphasize ocean to ocean, not ocean to lake.
It also has a river line. So.
Oh, river. Okay. Okay. He's getting out of it.
Does Mathis also talk about why working out? Does he talk about the need to protect your family?
You know, he
Is that-
doesn't. He doesn't talk about that, but I think that's important. You know, when God put Adam in the garden, and you love this word, shamar,
Yeah,
the guard,
yeah.
the protector, and so I think because there's something obvious about God made men stronger, and women more fragile, more delicate, less strong. There are strong women. Again, there's always exceptions.
But I know that one woman.
Right, there's always the one, but we don't rule by the exception. We rule by the norm, and so the norm is men are just stronger, right? Like that's why men that pretend to be women in women's sports is such a problem, right? That they allow that.
Because God made them biologically stronger.
They're stronger.
Yes.
There's no amount of like surgeries or hormone therapy is going to change the fact that man that is now trying to be a woman was born a man. He was stronger. He went through probably puberty. He has a different bone structure. He has different muscle connections. He's stronger. And so, to your point, in the garden, God put us there to protect, to guard. And let's just face it, like if you can't get off the couch to go defend your wife, your kids, if you need to, right? Like if you don't have a gun sitting under your, the cushion of your couch, but you need to go and struggle with an intruder, man,
And you can't.
like that's just going to be humiliating, right?
Same thing. I was actually totally related to that, but not related necessarily to exercise, but it does to the call. That's actually interesting. The call for pastors not to be addicted to much wine. I've heard people say, I'm never going to be drunk and then drive, but if I'm in the privacy of my own home, then it's fine to get intoxicated because I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to bed when I'm done. And it was in seminary, I think it was Andy Naselli that said, if you can't, if you are too relaxed mentally to be able to protect your family competently, you're sinning.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter that you're at home, you're just going to bed. You might be going to bed and the break-in happens 10 minutes later, an hour later.
Sure.
And if your mind is compromised, just like your body would be compromised from being overweight, if your mind's compromised, then you can't protect, and therefore you're sinning in the way that God called you to be in your home.
Yep. You're letting your family down.
Yep.
So
yeah, we exercise because God created a body that was good. He said, "This is very good."
Yeah.
Right. We exercise
and we
because-
glorify God as we use our body, as we do with our body what it was designed to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As the Swiss Army knife of bodies, we want to be able to use it in that way. We talked about bodybuilding versus powerlifting versus like CrossFit. I think of functional fitness. When I think about working out, I want to be functionally fit, which means I want to be able to pick something heavy off the ground and put it over my head.
Yep.
Essentially, right? Like I need to pick up a sandbag off the ground and I need to push it up to somebody up on a roof or something. Like we need to be able to do that. I want to be able to lift a child up and put them over my head. There's a great commercial, it just reminded me, a great commercial, maybe the best Christmas commercial I've ever seen is this, I don't even know what the product is, but it's an old man and he's trying to lift a kettlebell. This kettlebell. He's trying to lift this kettlebell. And this guy's like 80, right? And it's the evolution of this guy getting up every single morning, hitting the alarm, going out in his barn or whatever, and trying to lift this kettlebell. And at the very end, he finally gets there and he finally can lift it up and put it over his head, right? And the very end of the commercial is him picking up his granddaughter.
Yeah.
And she's got the star for the Christmas tree.
Yes.
And
I love it.
And his kids are watching him lift her up. And so she can put the star on the Christmas tree.
Functional fitness.
That's functional fitness.
Yeah.
And I think so. There's something about being able to do things, and that's another reason that David Mathis brings it up. Is for love of others.
Yeah.
To be a service to others, we want to be fit, so that when you get that call to go serve a brother by helping him build a fence,
Like chopping a root in the ground.
yeah. Thank God I had you guys when my shoulder was hurt and my back was hurt. When we're building a fence in my backyard, and I've got two strong men that can wield an axe to cut a 14-inch round root where our post hole needs to go. Right?
That was That was real.
That was awesome. So yeah, you guys, man, that's something you can't do if you're not fit.
So you were pushing. So we work out 3 days a week in your garage, and you were pushing over and over, especially in those early months, functional fitness. And then I got the call one day that my father-in-law had fallen, and it was just him and my mother-in-law at the house, and she's not. He can't even move by himself at this point. He can't roll over to get into a better position, and she's not able to, to get him into bed. And so neat is I went over there and I knew what I could deadlift, and I knew what I could squat, and I did the math, and I said, I know that I can get my father-in-law into bed because functional fitness. And so I positioned my body much like I would either deadlifting or squatting, and I got my father-in-law into bed, and I was like, that's what it's for. I mean, it's for the pets from my wife, and I think so. Like I think so.
Absolutely.
And I think it's for loving my father-in-law.
Yeah.
And
it's
lifting your granddaughter up to put the star on the tree.
Yeah, man. There's joy, there's love, but certainly you mentioned earlier Jesus came in a body. I mean, we just can't. I don't know when we run out of time, but we cannot finish this discussion without talking about the fact that Jesus came in a human body,
in one of our bodies.
Right? Did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but he came in the form of man. Right?
Yeah.
Being in the very form of God.
Yep.
He entered into humanity with flesh and blood, and he offered his body on the cross for our sins. His body was pierced.
Yeah.
Right. He was slain. His body was slain, and his glorified body rose.
Yeah.
Right. And he's seated not as a disembodied spirit next to the Father. He's seated in a physical body with a beating heart right now.
That's amazing.
The first fruits of the resurrection.
Yeah.
Jesus is embodied at the right hand. I mean, that to me is just important. We have to consider the value of the body based on the fact that our Savior came in a body.
Yeah.
That's how much value God puts in it.
So good. And then when it comes to, going back, then when it comes to just talking to people about Christ, how we present ourselves either opens the door or shuts the door, makes it easier or makes it harder to talk about spiritual things. If we're 100 pounds overweight and we're talking about spiritual things, if we don't have mastery over our own body, it's going to put up red flags.
It's going to badly reflect Christianity.
I think that's right. Which just makes it so interesting that there's, even over the years, there are so many overweight spiritual leaders.
Yeah, I mean, Spurgeon was rotund.
No, it's just like what you said. It's just like what you said, where the pastor is always seated. I mean, he has to make a considerable effort to get his fitness in.
Yeah.
And it's not just through walking. It's not just through reading the Bible. Like, you're not going to get fitness through that. So you have to make that effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to have some discipline. I mean,
Yes.
it's not easy. And again, there's always exceptions, right? There's always people that have injuries and thyroid problems and whatnot. And so we don't want to demean anybody by saying, you're fat and therefore no one should listen to you. It's not always their fault. But I think by and large, the rule in the last 50 years has been overweight pastors. And just in society. I mean, you go back to the 50s, 40s and 50s, and when you look at pictures of people in the 40s and 50s, they were pretty slim, pretty fit.
Yes.
And now you look at pictures.
And again, it goes
on purely off of survival, though. That's the difference.
I mean, so it's no surprise that pastors would go the way of the world in that regard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all kinds of stuff, including our food, right? Also plays a huge role in that.
Yeah.
You could do a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, we should. I love the trajectory, though, that we're seeing in some of our circles, where some churches are putting in gyms.
Yes.
Like in their building.
Yeah.
They're putting in gyms to just say, hey, guys, this is a part of what it means to be a man of God.
In today's society, you have to be way more intentional, which means having access to things.
Yep. I see videos of pastors working out and showing their progress. I've already name dropped Andy Naselli, and he just joined the 1,000
1,000-pound club.
1,000-pound club.
Yeah, he was over 1,100 pounds with a 500-pound deadlift and a 255-pound bench and a 350-pound squat.
And I just think back to what Alec was saying, I think that's part, it's certainly not the whole, but it's part of what makes him so respected in his congregation. Is he's a man who, if you have that kind of discipline when it comes to your body, I can probably trust your discipline when it comes to the Word of God and these other things.
Absolutely. So yeah, we work out for the smile of God, right? We feel His pleasure, for our own joy. It gives it for our own fight against anxiety and depression. It makes you feel good to be strong and be protectors.
I feel like sedimentarianism just like it really paves the way for demons to come in and attack you.
And I don't disagree with that. The times that I am most tempted spiritually
is when you're doing nothing.
Is when I'm not doing anything.
Exactly.
When you're weak and you're tired.
And I'm weak and I'm tired.
Yeah.
Which you can run the other way and say, then always be busy. You go, all right, that's another cultural idolization.
That's the ditches again.
That's the ditches. Yeah.
I think another reason, and Mathis brings this up in his book, is for mental acuity.
Yeah.
So there is something about working out that makes you mentally sharp.
Yes.
When you go on and the neuroscience behind it is just essentially that blood enters your brain. It goes, as you work out, you create the ability for blood to oxygenate your brain and create neurotransmitters and plasticity. Your brain, you can actually create brain cells through working out, but you have to have blood flow to it, and exercise actually increases that blood flow. So you are more mentally acute.
I love it.
When you're working out. So there's the mental aspect as well. And again, it's just the beauty of the body. Like God created us, with a brain, with a circulatory system, with muscles and all that, with a soul, and these things work together. And so if we're neglecting one for the other, if we're only working our brain because we're sitting down and we're studying all the time, but we're not working the body, we're actually not giving the brain enough work. Right? We need to go work out a little bit, get the blood flowing to increase your brain power.
We are holistic creatures. You cannot divorce your bodily health from your spiritual health or your mental health or your relational health.
Right.
Not totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's that aspect too.
Let me just do a quick lightning round, and then you can close this off however you want to do it. So these are just fun ones. Most overrated exercise.
Oh, yeah. Most overrated. Ooh. We might get in a fight here.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I would probably say, oh gosh. There's so many choices.
There's so many. Most overrated exercise.
You can go.
I mean, bicep curls.
Bicep curls.
Really?
Yeah, I think bicep curls are the most overrated. I mean, anytime you see a newbie go into a gym, what's the first thing they do? They grab a barbell or a dumbbell and they start doing curls. I truly don't think you need to do bicep curls at all to have strong biceps.
No, you don't.
Most overrated.
I would say like the chest press. So not the actual seated chest press, but I see people do this all the time. And it's when you're sitting upright and you have like a plate and you're just pushing it forward. Yeah,
that's worthless. I agree.
You're hitting your shoulders, but for some reason people think it hits your chest just because it's all front shoulders. Just because you're sitting there pushing your arms together. It's one of the stupidest things ever.
Okay,
I agree.
Second, most underrated exercise.
Underrated? I would say deadlifts. I think they're massively underrated. They hit every muscle in your body, and people ignore them. Yeah. People like at my gym, like you guys hit deadlifts, squats, bench all the time. I don't see people squat at my gym. I don't see men squat at my gym, and I don't see men deadlift at my gym. I finally got back to deadlifting again, and I can't tell you how much I missed it. It's great.
All right.
It's great. Yeah. It's one of the. I feel so sore after it, but oh man, there's nothing better than just to be like, I just picked that up off the ground. It may not have been that far, and I may not have walked with it, but
yeah, it's one of the most functional movements, and it's the one that works the most muscles in the body, and it creates for men. By the way, it's also the move that stimulates the most testosterone. We haven't talked about that, but when you push weight. Heavy weight, your body has to call for testosterone as a man. And so the deadlift pushes and stimulates more testosterone than any other lift. I will say, I mean, that would be mine too, but I think the overhead press is massively underrated. I think actually taking heavy weight and pushing it over your head is so important.
Just with that, another thing that's been so helpful for me this past year, I haven't worked out most of my life. I have for the last year. And when you just consistently get up. I mean, all winter long, we're working out in a garage gym.
With the heater on.
Cold steel that's been sitting out in 0
Oh.
degrees all night. We do have a heater, but it's been sitting in 0 degrees for all night long. And we got our hoodies on and wearing gloves and all that kind of stuff. And when you consistently do hard things, push heavy weight in a gym,
mentally.
you start to do that in other areas.
Yes. Yeah, you start doing hard things in other areas. And that's where you grow mentally along the way.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I just did this hard thing, so why would I be afraid of doing something that is outside of the gym that's hard?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite lift?
Favorite lift? Squats. Back squats.
Yeah. Deadlift.
Deadlift. Least favorite lift?
Least favorite lift, it would be...
Minus squats. I'll just say that. It's my least favorite.
Squats is your least favorite.
Oh yeah, that's the hardest day for me to get up and go to the gym when I know that we're doing squats.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really? Over the whole period, I've learned to love squats.
See, I've learned to love deadlifts. I get so excited when it's deadlift day.
Yeah.
Squats, I'd rather.
Yeah, squats are up there. There's something about having 300 pounds on your back and having to get down into a seated position, and the fear of it, like you're not going to be able to get out of this position.
Yeah, you're the only one that's going to get you out of that.
Yeah.
It's not least favorite, and then I don't like doing them. I do, but it's definitely a fearful lift.
Are we talking about Are we just talking about compound lifts, or are we just talking?
The question is least favorite lift.
Least favorite lift. Well, this could go back to like least favorite exercise too. So
it's also a lightning round.
Round.
You have to
And
answer
I'm
quick.
spending way too much time.
We're well past
Bench.
lightning.
What's that?
Bench.
Keep going. Least favorite.
Bench.
Okay. Last two questions. They kind of relate. Best piece of fitness advice in a sentence. In one sentence, fitness advice.
Yeah. Just stack wins one on top of another.
Yep.
Stack wins one on top of another. Yeah, it's good.
I think he said that perfectly. I was gonna say just keep going, because that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just the consistency of you getting up and just continuously going.
Dory said it best. Just keep swimming.
Yeah.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo.
Yeah, I thought you said Dorothy at first,
Dory.
and I was like, that's Yellow Brick Road.
Dory and Finding
is-
Nemo. I mean, there's so much wisdom to that, though. Just keep walking. Like, life is hard sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't want to get out of bed and go out into the garage and work out.
Right.
But just put one foot in front of another, get out there. And then
Doing
let your
the
foot-
hard things usually have the greatest rewards at the end of it.
And
Yep.
well said. My last question in this is, if every Christian, so I'm focusing on Christian, could hear only one thing about health, what would you want to say? Kind of closing sentence. This isn't necessarily fitness per se. It's health in general, and you're speaking to a Christian. What would you say?
Our bodies are the temple of God.
That's good.
First
We didn't bring
Corinthians
that
6.
up, but that's important. There's a lot of verses we didn't cover in this. We could do a full theology of exercise and bring out all kinds of Bible verses. That's certainly one. You're a temple of the Holy Spirit. We didn't go there, but that's really good. You're a body that God dwells in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's again how much importance God places on the body.
So you should take it seriously.
He's tabernacling in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you want a good place for God to dwell in?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not your own. So I think it's good. To Christians, you were bought with a price. Your body is not your own.
Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit.
That's right.
Which are His.
That's right. Therefore,
Amen.
glorify God.
Amen.
So give it some value. We're not Gnostics. We don't believe that the body is all bad and the only thing good is spirit. We believe in at least the duality of the body at the minimum. Some people would say 3 parts, but whatever, we are body and soul for sure.
So we're not Gnostics. We're also not nudists.
We're not nudists. We're not nudists. We're not neo-pagans. There's a whole movement out there of neo-pagans. You can go look those people up that put way too much emphasis on the body. But I think in Christian circles, our temptation is to not, like we've covered, not put enough. And so honor God with your body. Like do some working out. It would benefit a lot of men that have narrow chests to pick up a dumbbell every morning. Is that what Spurgeon said?
Yeah, I love that.
And so I will say one other little tip, just maybe for Christians, as you get older, now that I'm in my 50s, 3 days a week is probably not enough for me. There's a great book out there called Younger Next Year. So if you're getting older and you think that this isn't for you because you're older and you can't do this, you can do some form of physical exercise all through your life. So as an old guy talking to the older guys, go look up a book called Younger Next Year. I forget the author's name, and that'll be a great book for the older folks to understand that you can do this at any age. And in your 50s, you're supposed to work out like 5 days a week. As you age, it's easier to lose muscle and lose agility and whatnot. And so you should work out more as you age. So we're gonna have to add a couple of weeks to our workout routine.
A couple of days.
A couple of days to our week.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. No other questions? All right.
It's good.
The vacuum's on. That means we got to go. Thank you for tuning in to Plundering Leviathan. Whatever you do, whether you eat, whether you drink, whether you lift weights, whether you run, do it all to the glory of God. And remember, Leviathan is bound. Until next time.
You gotta go take his stuff. Yeah, Tim's not fat enough. Leviathan is bound. Go take his stuff.
What he said.
Then just hit the whatever the button is. Find the button.